So you finally got that promotion you've been working toward for 2 years. 20% salary increase. You're making more money than you ever have in your entire life. And somehow, 3 months later you have less money in your savings account than you did before the raise. You're sitting there looking at your bank account thinking, where did it all go? I'm making $65,000 a year now instead of 54, but I feel more broke than when I was making less. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. And today we're going to talk about why this happens to almost everyone, and more importantly, how to actually break free from this cycle. My name is Matthew, and I spend way too much time thinking about why people who earn more money somehow end up with less of it. If you're someone who's gotten a raise in the last couple of years but still feels like you're living paycheck to paycheck, or if you're watching your income go up but your savings account stays flat, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And hey, share this with someone who needs to hear it, because this information could completely change their financial future. Okay, so here's the thing. And this is going to sound absolutely wild when I say it out loud. There are people out there making $30,000 a year who are saving money every single month. And then there are people making $150,000 a year who are completely broke. Like, can't come up with $500 for an emergency broke. How is that even possible? And this isn't just me making stuff up. A study by the National Bureau of Economic Research, United States, tracked over 10,000 households over 15 years. What they found was shocking. 78% of people who received a significant raise actually ended up with a lower savings rate 2 years later than they had before the raise. 78%. That's more than 3 out of every 4 people. It's like if I told you that people who go to the gym 5 days a week are less healthy than people who go 3 days a week. It makes no sense, right? But it's happening every single day to millions of people. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Matthew, but why? Why would people do this? Well, here's where it gets really interesting. Your brain is actually wired to do this. It's not your fault. You're not bad with money. Your brain is literally designed to work this way. There's this concept called hedonic adaptation, studied by psychologist Daniel Kahneman and Angus Deaton, United States, who won a Nobel Prize for this research. They studied lottery winners and found that after about 6 months, lottery winners were no happier than they were before winning. Their brain just adjusted. The fancy new house, the expensive car, all of it became normal. And get this, researchers at Princeton, United States, did brain scans on people while they were making financial decisions. What they discovered is that the same areas of the brain that light up when someone making $30,000 considers a $3,000 purchase are the exact same areas that light up when someone making $300,000 considers a $30,000 purchase. Your brain literally scales your perception of what's expensive based on your income. Let me paint you a picture of how this actually happens, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Imagine you're making $50,000 a year. After taxes, you're bringing home about $3,200 every month. And life is tight, really tight. You've got your apartment that costs $1,200, car payment, insurance, groceries, gas, your phone bill, all the stuff you need just to exist. And at the end of the month, if you're really careful, if you skip going out a few times, if you pack your lunch instead of buying it, you can save maybe $200. Maybe you look at people who make more money than you and you think, man, if I could just get a raise, all my problems would be solved. I'd finally be able to save. I'd finally be able to get ahead. Right? That's the dream. More money equals more savings. Simple math. And then it happens. The promotion comes through. You're now making $65,000 a year. You're so excited. This is it. You run the numbers. You're now making about $4,000 a month after taxes. That's $800 more than before. $800 extra dollars every single month. Your brain starts doing the happy math. Okay, I was saving $200 before. Now I have $800 more dollars. So I should be able to save $1,000 a month easily. You're picturing your savings account getting fat. You're imagining finally paying off your credit cards. Maybe even starting to invest. And here's where the story takes a turn. You got this raise, right? You're feeling good, feeling successful. And one day you're driving home in your car that makes that weird noise sometimes. And you pass by a car dealership and you think, you know what? I'm making good money now. I can afford a nicer car, something reliable. So you go look. Just looking, you tell yourself. And the salesperson runs the numbers and says, hey, for just $200 more a month, you can drive off in this beautiful, brand new car. $200? That's nothing. You just got $800 more a month. $200 is only like a quarter of your raise. And here's what's happening in your brain right now. $200 used to feel like a lot of money. Now it feels reasonable, normal, almost cheap. So you do it. You get the car, and it feels amazing. New car, $200 of your raise, gone. But you've still got $600 left. No big deal. Then a few weeks later, you're at your apartment. Same apartment you've had for 3 years. Your neighbor upstairs is stomping around at 11 p.m. again, and you think, wait a minute, I make good money now. Why am I still living here? So you start looking at nicer apartments, better neighborhood, quieter, and you find one that's $500 more a month. $500 sounds like a lot, but then you remember, you make more money now. You're not the old you anymore. This is totally reasonable. So you move, and the new apartment is nicer. For the first 2 weeks, every time you walk in, you smile. New apartment, $500 of your raise, gone. Let's do the math. $200 for the car, $500 for the apartment. That's $700 out of your $800 raise. You've got $100 left. But here's the thing. It's never just the big stuff. You start getting lunch out more often because, hey, you're working hard. You deserve it. That's an extra $10 a day, times 5 days a week, $200 a month. Oh, wait, we're already over the $800 raise. We're in the red now, but it keeps going. You sign up for that gym membership, $75 a month. Premium streaming services, another $40. Nicer clothes for your professional look, a couple hundred here and there. You go out to dinner more. You upgrade your phone when the new model comes out. Every single one of these decisions feels small, feels reasonable, feels justified, but they're all drawing from the same pot of money. And then one day, about 3 or 4 months after that amazing raise, you're sitting there looking at your bank account, and you realize something horrifying. You have less money saved than you did before the raise. You're making $800 more every month, and somehow, you're more broke than you were before. How did this happen? You feel like you just got robbed, but you can't figure out who took your money. Here's what happened. Your brain played a trick on you. When you were making $3,200 a month, your brain had a very clear picture of what was expensive and what wasn't. $1,200 for rent? That felt like a lot, but okay. $1,700 for rent? That felt impossible. That felt like rich people money. But the second you started making $4,000 a month, your brain immediately recalculated everything. Now $1,700 doesn't feel impossible anymore. Now it feels reasonable, normal, maybe even like a good deal. Your brain is literally designed to scale your spending with your income. It's not a bug. It's a feature. But in the modern world, it's destroying your financial future. And the wildest part? All those upgrades that felt so important, that felt like they were going to change your life. Remember that research about hedonic adaptation? After about 6 months, people return to their baseline level of happiness regardless of the positive change. That nice apartment? After 6 months, it's just your apartment now. That new car? It's just your car. You're back to feeling exactly the same level of happy or unhappy as you were before, except now you're spending $800 more a month to feel that way. The happiness boost from a lifestyle upgrade lasts on average between 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months of elevated happiness in exchange for permanently higher expenses. It's like if someone offered you this deal. I'll give you a really good piece of chocolate cake right now, but in exchange, you have to give me $500 a month for the rest of your life. You'd say no. That's a terrible deal. But that's literally what you're doing with lifestyle inflation. Okay, Now I need to show you something that's going to make you really mad or really motivated. Maybe both. Remember that $800 raise that disappeared into your new lifestyle? Let's pretend you did something different. Let's pretend you just kept living exactly the same way. Same apartment, same car, same everything. And you took that full $800 and invested it every single month, just into a basic index fund. The S&P 500 historically returns about 10% annually. After 10 years, you'd have over $180,000. After 20 years, almost $600,000. After 30 years, over $1.9 million. $1.9 million. That's the real math of compound interest. And that's the opportunity cost of lifestyle inflation. So how do you break the cycle? How do you actually make more money and keep more money? Here's the secret. And it's so simple it's going to sound too easy. When you get a raise, you have to make a decision before you see the money, before your brain starts running calculations, before you drive past that car dealership. The very first thing you do is set up an automatic transfer that takes at least half of your after-tax raise and moves it straight to savings or investments. If your monthly take-home goes up by $800, you set up a $400 automatic transfer right away, that day. Why? Because if you don't see it, you won't spend it. Your brain will adjust to the $400 increase instead of the $800 increase, and you'll still feel like you got a raise. But you're also building wealth. Now, with that other $400, you get intentional. You don't just let it evaporate into random stuff. You choose one, maybe two things that will genuinely make your life better. Maybe it really is a nicer apartment because you're living in a place with actual problems. Okay, do that. Or maybe it's finally taking that vacation you've been dreaming about. Or hiring a house cleaner so you have more free time. Or joining that climbing gym. But it's a choice. A conscious, intentional choice. Not just spending more on everything because you can. Every dollar is making a choice about your future. Either it's working for you, growing and building wealth, or it's gone forever, exchanged for something that's going to feel normal in 6 months anyway. You know what's funny? Really wealthy people don't fall for this trap. Dr. Thomas Stanley, United States, who wrote The Millionaire Next Door, surveyed over 1,000 millionaires. The average millionaire lives in a house that costs less than 3 times their annual income, drives a car that's at least 4 years old. Warren Buffett still lives in a house he bought in 1958 for $31,500. He's worth billions. With a B. Is he miserable? No. He just understands that an expensive house doesn't make him happier, but having his money working for him does make him wealthier. They figured out that the gap between what you earn and what you spend is where wealth lives. If you make $50,000 and spend $49,000, you're broke. If you make $60,000 and spend $45,000, you're building wealth, even though the person making less is actually getting richer. Mind-blowing, right? All right, here's what you're going to do. Actually do today. First, calculate your current savings rate. Take however much you saved last month and divide it by what you earned after taxes. Write that number down. Second, make a commitment right now that when you get your next raise, you're going to automatically save at least 50% of it before you do anything else. Tell someone about this commitment. Make it real. Third, look at your current spending and find one area where you've upgraded your lifestyle that isn't actually making you happier. Cut that one thing and redirect the money to savings. Just one thing. Start there. Look, here's the bottom line. Making more money is not the solution to your financial problems if you're just going to spend more money at the same rate. The income trap is real. It's backed by decades of research. It's sneaky, and it keeps people stuck their entire lives, always feeling broke no matter how much they earn. But now you see it. Now you understand how your brain is working against you. 78% of people fall into this trap, but you don't have to be one of them. You can be that person who makes more money and actually keeps more money, who builds real wealth instead of just looking wealthier. And 20 years from now, when your friends are still stressed about money despite making 6 figures, you'll be the one who's financially free. If this video opened your eyes, smash that like button and subscribe. And seriously, share this with someone who needs to hear it, because this information could completely change the trajectory of their entire financial life. And that's worth way more than any apartment upgrade or new car. And speaking of apartment upgrades, you know what the biggest lifestyle inflation trap of all is? Buying a house. Yeah, I said it. Everyone tells you that buying a home is the smart investment and building equity, but the reality is way more complicated than that. There's a reason why some people who buy homes end up broker than their friends who kept renting. I break down the entire mortgage trap in my next video, and trust me, after watching it, you're going to see homeownership in a completely different light. The math is going to shock you. Click that video right now. Why owning a home leaves you broker than renting, the mortgage trap. You don't want to miss this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.